All right, cool. I'm gonna talk about something in a minute. Just with my wife here, we're watching some Chinese TV. Yeah, see, I can't turn the brightness down. Some of these channels I flip through, you're not gonna be able to see. It's just too bright for my camera on my phone. See, what do we got? That's pretty interesting. These guys, I mean, they have so much good. I got like something like 100 channels or something. So there's a lot of channels about the Olympics. Everything says CCTV. That's what their channels are called in CCTV. So also a lot of the channels for security functions around buildings and places all over the place called CCTV. So you might get that confused when you're talking about China, but that's what the television channels are actually called. So we got some news talking about Ukraine. Guys are working on some satellite or some sort of. Let's see. Oh, it's documentary. They have a lot of stuff about like nature and like documentaries when it comes to stuff about like the Great Wall and other heritage stuff about concerning China on TV like all the time. They have some military stuff. I mean, they have a whole mix of but generally like I don't know if we pay anything for this. We pay hardly nothing for like 100 channels. Sometimes it's in English. Like this one says Français at this top left, and it says CGTN. But yeah, my wife knows how to operate the television remote better than I do. We can go to movies too. There's all sorts of stuff we can select. It'll bring up a large screen that would look like a mobile or like Windows 10, where it brings up all these tiles you can select. Similar to Netflix, I guess you have all these movies you can select and other things. But their TV channels are just their free TV channels are like amazing. We haven't started watching a lot of TV. Like we just started recently, a few days ago. Been in China over 2 years. Like I had this whole long conversation with my wife. Like, hey, I've been waiting like over 2 years for you to sit down and watch some television with me. Anyways, I won't tell you much about that right now. But the reason why I'm making this video is for my, is to addition to the last video. Who am I? Who are you? I just want to say a little bit more about that. I can only make this video so long, but who are you? Are you gonna learn anything about yourself if you start off your life with a chip on your shoulder? You have some disability, or maybe you just have something you can argue for to get some disability and never even start to do anything ever, like in the arts or work or any. I mean, you can do something despite what your ailments are, but like you're just gonna. Let's just use an example. Someone that believes they belong to a minority for any reason, skin color, sexuality, anything. And they just believe that the system owes them something. They've been discriminated against because they're presented with stories of people that are in that situation that were discriminated against. I mean, people get shown prejudice all the time for whatever reasons. I mean, you get made fun of in school by people. I get discriminated against a lot in the United States after I got out of the Navy, especially. But when like veterans get discriminated against all the time. Just people treat you differently. But when I grew my beard out and I had a long beard and braided it down here, I mean, the stories I could tell you of ways I was shown extreme prejudice, treated differently from other people. I mean, I got some stories about the shit they did to me in the United States. Why? I look different. They People that look like this, they associate with a bum that lives on the street or something. Anyways, you gotta go through life. You gotta try to get good at something. Otherwise, what's the point of having life to anything you enjoy about? Like, if you don't know what you're good at, when you get old, and you're in your 50s, 60s, you don't have to be in the workforce anymore, and you can't look back. You can't sit in your chair wherever you're at, relax, go fishing or whatever, and be proud of yourself about something you did, think about where you end up later in life. Just be disgruntled for complaining about everybody forever because you've never done anything that you're personally satisfied about yourself. And, starting on that path, you don't have to be religious or spiritual to start on that path. Some people from birth or very young age know what they want to do and they just get straight into becoming the best at a certain thing, maybe a certain instrument or a certain medical study or whatever it is, and they just get into that, and they get to that point later in life that they're just proud of what they've done. So, like an example with a lot of people have been talking about this guy. And I look at a lot of stuff he says, but an example would be someone like Jordan Peterson, right? Like he's so personally, he doesn't need to ever brag about anything he has done because the value and general comments he hears all the time about how he's helped someone, and this guy's going to be receiving those further conversations and stuff because he's not having any short conversation. He's not short with people. You know what that term means, being short with someone. Oh well, someone talks to you about how maybe they got a DUI and it ruined their career or whatever. Oh well, you're drunk. You need to get off alcohol and not do that again. And just he's not having short conversations. He's not being short with people. Like he's talking to them deeply about how to overcome obstacles in life or whatever the case may be, discovering who they are. Like he gets in depth with a lot of things when it comes to your mind and overcoming obstacles. So someone like that, he doesn't need to. He sat down on that path, or just had those thoughts at a very young age. Initially he was interested in studying law, I think, but he got on the path in life that he needed to take to get to where he's at now. Like he was hardwired. Like he was hardwired spiritually to do that. So he didn't have to go on the path of discovery or meditation or not knowing. Like that's where I started out. I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I was interested in. I grew up in religion. I was surrounded by a lot of things in school or whatever the case may be that I just thought there was what's the point in it? People strongly argued for a lot of different stuff. You got to be this way, or you got to focus on learning this stuff, or whatever the case may be. And I started down the path of discovery, and that's how I started out. But in through doing that and making a lot of mistakes along the way, and going through a lot of hardships, difficult things. I mean, I almost died a few times. But that's the path I had to take. But some people, you never start down a path, and if you don't, the results of that, if you live a long life and you die of natural causes, the results of that, of living the last 20, 30, 40 years of your life, knowing, like when you get back to your house and maybe you're living with someone or you're living by yourself and knowing you never did anything important, that's going to be a rough several decades before you pass away. I'm telling you that right now.